Thanks, Mondri. Following those thematic presentations, I'd like to highlight the importance of relationships in our approach to digital infrastructure investing. With 3 decades of experience in the sector, we have unique access to customers, people, and opportunities. Clients trust us with key elements of their network and business. We have the broadest, deepest team of operating partners and investment professionals in the business, creating a unique network of proprietary deal flow, with most of our transactions directly sourced and negotiated. At the heart of our model is the mentality of owners and operators of critical network infrastructure. With that in mind, I'd like to introduce Liam Stewart, our COO, who will walk through the power of our platform in greater detail. After that, Mark, Maddie, and Jeff are going to discuss ESG and DEI and how we are proactively infusing those principles across our portfolio, bringing these subjects front and center where they belong. With that, I'll turn it over to Liam to get started.
I'm Liam Stewart. I am the Chief Operating Officer at DigitalBridge. I'm here to talk about DigitalBridge's value add as an investment manager. Our key objective at DigitalBridge is that we want to make great companies and we want to work with great management teams to make that vision a reality. And when I think about that vision of what being great means, it comes down to 3 things. The first is, how do we enhance returns for our investors? The second one is, how do we do meaningful things for our customers? And the third one is, how do we make these compelling businesses for our stakeholders, in particular for our employees, but also for the communities in which our portfolio companies operate? One of the things that really differentiates us as a management team is deep operational experience in digital infrastructure businesses. And we ourselves, as a management team, have been successful in building these businesses and delivering returns to our investors. And so we have a good idea of what works and a pretty clear idea of what doesn't work. And so we make sure that we draw on both those positive and negative experiences. And I think because a lot of us have that operational background, we spend a lot of time making sure we have the right athletes in the right spots. This is very dynamic. Human capital is one of the fundamental drivers of growth. And so if you drill down into what we've done in our portfolio companies, we've done a lot of management augmentation. Take, for example, Zayo, where we were very fortunate to be able to bring Steve Smith on board as Chief Executive Officer, someone who was a pioneering executive in the public data center space. That's really characteristic of how we try and augment and supplement talent at the portfolio company level. And then those portfolio company CEOs and CFOs and COOs, we then surround them with a lot of industry expertise, whether it's our leadership team here at DigitalBridge or our network of operating advisors, people who have effectively been there and done that and bring a lot of experience to the table. The second thing that having operating experience really emphasizes is how important the platform is, ensuring that we can relentlessly measure the critical metrics that drive value, investing in real-time decision-making capabilities, embedding scalable systems and processes, so that as we grow these businesses, we're generating positive operating leverage, and then utilizing that platform so we can deploy growth capital effectively. And really asking ourselves, are we being as efficient as we possibly can? Are we measuring the right things? Are we incentivizing the right things? Another thing that we spend a lot of time thinking about and focusing on is capital structure. And we're really fortunate in the sense that a few of our leadership team are just phenomenal in this regard. And so my partner, Tom Yanagi, is going to say a few words about our capital markets practice. Tom?
Thanks so much, Liam. Hi, I'm Tom Yanagi, Head of Debt Capital Markets here at DigitalBridge, which I've been leading since I joined in June of 2014. I will be providing you with some insight into how we finance our investment activities and help our companies to finance their long-term growth objectives. Like all infrastructure, our portfolio of digital infrastructure companies is capital intensive, and as such, access to efficient debt financing is a key to the success of our business. Over the last several years, we've executed over $25 billion in financings supporting DigitalBridge's acquisition activities and refinancings, as well as portfolio company capital needs. Over the years, we've issued Term Loan A, Term Loan B, secured notes, high yield, holdco notes, and ABS. Equally important is developing a deep understanding of the business being financed. While debt quantum and financing costs may garner most of the headlines, ensuring that sufficient flexibility is provided to support rather than hinder operating performance is also paramount. To that end, a key part of my role is to partner with our best-in-class management teams as we develop and execute our financing plans. I think it may be worth taking a minute to highlight our experience in the ABS market. DigitalBridge has executed 14 securitizations, including a number of first-of-its-kind ABS issuances across the different digital infrastructure subsectors. Examples include the first-ever hyperscale data center securitization, Vantage, the first small cell securitization, Extenet, and the first enterprise edge data center securitization, DataBank. The DataBank financing is a great example and one that I'm particularly proud of. Earlier this year, we executed DataBank's $758 million inaugural ABS issuance. This was the first ever securitization of a multi-tenant edge data center and was a complex, innovative deal, requiring a year-long process working with rating agencies and introducing the sector to the ABS investor community. When we brought it to market in February, the financing received tremendous interest and was many times oversubscribed. When completed, we added more than $200 million in liquidity and reduced borrowing costs by more than 50%, creating substantial value for DataBank shareholders. Supporting the strategic financing needs of our companies is one of the key pillars of the DigitalBridge value-add playbook, and the DataBank securitization is a great example of the value we can deliver. Consistent with all my partners at DigitalBridge, we are constantly driven to find ways to support the growth of our companies and drive return for our investors.
Today, you'll hear from Jeff and Maddie about our bold commitments to ESG. I've put in place several initiatives that we believe are best in class and ahead of the curve as it relates to our peer group. First, Net Zero 2030. This is our plan to get DigitalBridge and all of our portfolio companies to net zero greenhouse gas emissions by 2030. We've created a diverse and talented workforce through mentorship, internships, recruiting, and most importantly, providing an equal pathway for careers around compensation and promotions. It is so critical to create a framework where we've leveled the playing field. This is important to me. It's important to our investors. It's important to our employees. And mostly, it's important to all of our stakeholders.
I'm Jeff Ginsberg, Chief Administrative Officer of our investment management business, and I chair our ESG Committee. I'm happy to be here today with my partner, Maddie Yohannan, our Chief of Staff, who is leading a powerful DEI transformation across the firm. Our ESG Committee is composed of 10 diverse members across the organization, drawn from different business units and seniority levels in offices around the globe. Our senior team and many of our portfolio company managers have worked together for years and in some cases decades. We've always operated our businesses with a sense of purpose as responsible investors and stewards of capital. Over the past 3 years, we have taken the firm's commitment to ESG issues to new heights, becoming a signatory to the Principles for Responsible Investment, integrating ESG analysis into due diligence processes, and establishing a program that sets clear expectations with our portfolio companies, ensuring they have a strong foundation to manage and report on ESG issues. And it's making a real impact.
Exactly, Jeff. Taking strong action on climate change is one of our top priorities. Rapid decarbonization is a business imperative in the digital infrastructure sector. To that end, our portfolio company, DigitalBridge, announced last year that it had become the world's first carbon-neutral tower company. And Scala, our hyperscale data center business in Brazil, recently announced its carbon-neutral status, purchasing 100% of its energy from renewable power sources. These are great steps, but we need to do more.
Yes, we do. And so we have. We have announced a bold science-based commitment to achieve net zero greenhouse gas emissions by 2030. A commitment across all of our portfolio companies. Our Net Zero 2030 action plan has 5 key elements. First, measure. We are going to measure and establish our carbon footprint by the end of 2021. 2, partner. We're going to work with leading organizations and frameworks to validate our progress in a transparent manner. 3, roadmaps. Every company will approve a net zero roadmap by the end of 2022. 4, interim targets. We are going to have each company set specific emissions reduction targets by the end of 2025. And finally, measure and report. We will develop a structured and transparent approach to reporting on our progress. Bottom line, in order to affect real change, we need to own the facts. That means changing our behavior and prioritizing the reduction of energy consumption, the sourcing of renewable power, and the decarbonization of our supply chain. Purchasing carbon removals and offsets to reduce greenhouse gas emissions must be a last resort. We are already a member of several organizations to ensure we have a best-in-class industry framework for our ESG program, including BSR, PRI, PRIA, and Net Zero Asset Managers. These are fantastic organizations that will help us achieve our goals. I've said the word transparent a few times today because it's critical to us in the ESG world, but it's also a key tenet of our approach to governance, diversity, equity, and inclusion.
Absolutely, Jeff. One of my mantras in life is talent is universal, opportunity is not. In today's increasingly digital world, diversity, equity, and inclusion in the workplace and in our business practices have never been more important. Talent is quite literally the lifeblood of our organization, our DigitalBridge family. As you've probably heard my partner Mark Ganzi say, people create alpha, not the assets. Put simply, diverse teams drive more fully informed decisions and ultimately better outcomes.
Absolutely, Maddie. And building an inclusive culture that promotes and champions a set of values built upon mutual respect, acceptance, fairness, and equality is a core tenet for us.
100%. I will give you 2 examples, our Summer Analyst program and our investment in impact data. Yesterday marks the first day of DigitalBridge's inaugural Summer Analyst program. The objective of this program is to serve as a foundational piece of the firm's talent development pipeline. We have partnered with 3 leading organizations to source this talent, the Sponsors for Educational Opportunity, Young Women in Finance, and KIPP New Jersey. 3 of our summer analysts come from the SEO Career Program. SEO Career recruits and trains high-achieving, underrepresented minorities for challenging summer internships that lead to coveted full-time jobs at leading investment firms and Fortune 500 companies. As an alumnus, the SEO Career Program in particular is near and dear to me. It was my first opportunity on Wall Street over 25 years ago.
That's amazing. What's next?
This next initiative focuses on the E in DEI, equity, and I'm incredibly excited about it. Impact Data. Headquartered in Atlanta, Georgia, Impact Data is launching a network of distributed colo data centers. In conjunction with the United Negro College Fund, DigitalBridge and Impact Data are partnering alongside our nation's most respected historically Black colleges and universities to build secure digital learning and colo data centers, known as Dream Centers. These Dream Centers will provide enterprises better access to the data while expanding digital infrastructure and workforce development in underserved communities. Impact Data is creating a connected ecosystem where enterprises can leverage their data for good to advance student learning, sustain HBCUs, and transform historically disinvested communities. We're really excited about the business prospects and the social impact we expect this investment to achieve. Stay tuned